Welcome back, our learners. My name is Teacher Jacob, and I want today that we learn about osmosis. Welcome to my class. So, what is osmosis? Osmosis is a fundamental process in biology and chemistry. Those who are in high school, you've talked about osmosis, you have done practicals, and those who are also in primary, especially during this new curriculum, we are learning osmosis in integrated science. Is actually the third last topic in grade 8. So osmosis is actually the movement of solvent molecules from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. So through, of course, a semi-permeable membrane. This membrane allows the passage of solvent molecules but restricts the passage of solute molecules. Now, the driving force behind osmosis is the difference in water potential between the two regions, which is influenced by solute concentration. Water moves to equalize the concentration of solutes on both sides of membrane, aiming to achieve what we call an equilibrium. So the entire movement of molecules from the region of high to the region of low through a semi-permeable membrane is to achieve an equilibrium. Now, the concept of water potential is crucial in understanding osmosis. Water potential is the measure of the relative tendency of water to move from one area to another, and it is affected by factors, or you can say factors such as solute concentration, we have pressure and gravity. In osmosis, water moves from an area of higher water potential, that is the lower solute concentration. When you take a jar and then you put inside, you immerse a whisking tubing inside the water, and inside the whisking tubing that you have immersed in water, you put what we call a solute, can put salt or sugar. So you'll realize that water from the whisking tubing will water from the jar will move into the whisking tubing, because that is the lower side and that is the higher side. Now the water is leaving the container, which is the jar, and entering the whisking tubing. So whisking tubing is highly concentrated with the solute, whereas the water, the jar or the jar is highly concentrated with water. That's why we are saying osmosis is the movement of water molecules from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. So an example of semi-permeable membrane there is, for example, there is a whisking tubing. So on an area of lower water potential, higher solute concentration. So I repeat that the concept of water potential is crucial in understanding osmosis. Now, water potential is the measure of the relative tendency of water to move from one area to another, and it is affected by factors such as solute concentration, pressure, and gravity. In osmosis, water moves from an area of higher water potential to an area of lower water potential. So an area of lower water potential now is where now they've got higher solute concentration, and an area that has high water potential is an area that has low solute concentration. Now, this movement continues until the water potential on both sides of the membrane is equal, or until another opposes the osmotic pressure. Osmotic pressure is the pressure that would have to be applied to a solution. Of course, when you solute plus solvent is equivalent to solution. So when I say that osmotic pressure is the pressure that would have to be applied to a solution to prevent the inward flow of water across a semi-permeable membrane. So it is proportional to the concentration of solute particles in the solution. The greater the solute concentration, the higher the osmotic pressure. I repeat, the greater the solute concentration, the higher the osmotic pressure. It's like a magnet. And the greater the tendency for water to move into that solution. So the pressure is essential for maintaining the cell turgor in plants and regulating fluid balance in animals. You see that? Osmosis is not just a theoretical concept, but a vital process in numerous biological and environmental systems. Understanding osmosis helps us to explain how plants absorb water from the soil, how our kidneys filter blood, and why certain foods spoils if not stored properly. In plants, osmosis is responsible for maintaining cell turgor, which provides structural support and is essential for growth. Without osmosis, plants would wilt and be unable to transport nutrients effectively. Now, when a plant wilts, it loses moisture, and that process is going to kill. The wilting is the process of a plant losing water. So the leaves will become flaccid and then dry. So in the human body, so that was plants. Now in the human body, osmosis plays a critical role in maintaining fluid balance and ensuring proper cell function. The kidneys use osmosis to reabsorb water and essential nutrients from the blood, preventing dehydration and maintaining electrolyte balance. Additionally, osmosis is involved in the absorption of water and nutrients in the intestines, Understanding these processes allows us to develop better treatments for conditions like dehydration, edema, and kidney disorders. Now, for you to see this more practically, you need to do in your class or with the help of your teacher. For you to understand osmosis better, you can to observe the effects of osmosis on plant cells by placing potato strips in solutions of different solution concentration. So you need the following. So in the lab, the students in your class will prepare potato strips and immerse them in different salt solution. It could be hypotonic, isotonic, and hypertonic. Yeah, hypotonic, isotonic, and hypertonic. By observing changes in the texture and flexibility of the potato strips over a specified time, students will understand how osmosis affects plant cells in varying environments. This hands-on activity will help students visualize the movement of water across cell membrane and its impact on cell target. So you can group yourselves into groups of 3 or 4 students and conduct this practical of osmosis. Cut your potato into strips and immerse them in water that is in different states. You can boil, warm water, you can use cold water, then you'll observe these changes. So thank you so much for joining my class. May you have a nice time.